Hello, everybody. Rusty Albertson, Director of Communications at St. Mark, the Evangelist Catholic Church, joined by Father Tim. Father Tim, how are you?
Hello. It's great to be back after all this time.
It's been a long time.
We've had so many guest stars that I forgot I used to do
When you
this
told
show.
me to get other people for a while, you didn't know it'd be 4 months, did you?
No, I did not, but I'm sure the views have been going up when
They
it's
have
not
been.
me. So,
Right,
yeah.
they have been. Millions of users. Yeah. So we are in the third week of Advent, correct?
That's right. Yeah.
Tell us a little bit the Advent season, what we as Catholics, maybe some of our focus should be.
Well, we know there's 4 Sundays in Advent during this. It's one of the 2 seasons of preparation along with Lent. Third Sunday is the Pink Sunday, as we call it, or as I would say, rose-colored Sunday, but because of the focus on joy. But the whole point of Advent is to get us ready for Christmas, which is one of the 2 foundational feast days of the year. This year, because Christmas is always December 25th, of course it moves which day of the week it hits. This year it's on a Sunday, which means Advent is as long as it can possibly be. The fourth Sunday of Advent is always before Christmas. Sometimes that's 2 days long, 3 days long, and this year it's a full 7 days long. So we have plenty of time to prepare during this season. And then on that Sunday, the 25th, we will celebrate Christmas and begin the Christmas season, which actually goes through to the baptism of the Lord, which is 2 weeks after Christmas that we celebrate the feast.
And Christmas falling on Sundays, for all those that are maybe guests or in for Christmas holidays, what's the Mass schedule for this weekend?
So yeah, that's a good question, because it's not a normal Sunday schedule, because we have, as you might know, a lot of people enjoy going Christmas Eve. So Saturday the 24th, we have our big Mass, the 4:30 p.m. Mass. That's where we'd fill the church, and we have the gym and Schaefer Hall
Overflow.
set up for overflow. That's a simulcast of the Mass. That's at 4:30 p.m. And then we have our midnight Mass, which, unlike every other parish on the south side, ours is actually midnight.
Awesome.
A lot of them just call it the Mass at night, 9 p.m., 10 p.m. But we actually do it at midnight, which is the tradition, and I like that. And then, so that's on Saturday. On Sunday, the 25th, we have a 10 a.m., and then we have a 2 p.m. For our Myanmar community. Of course, anyone can go to any of these Masses, but the 2 p.m. will be in Burmese. And those 4 Masses will be our Christmas Masses. Then we'll have a normal weekend schedule for Mary, Mother of God. New Year's Eve and New Year's Day is a holy day of obligation to celebrate Mary, but since it falls on a Sunday, it's also the Sunday. So we're just going to have a normal 4:30, 7:30, 9:30, or 4:37, 9:30, 11:45, 2 p.m. schedule.
So as a priest, would you rather have Christmas on a Sunday, or the other days, does it matter?
It's nice that Christmas is on a Sunday, because it gives us that full 4th week of Advent to prepare and to keep the thing flowing. The problem with Christmas being on a Sunday, and it seems like something you wouldn't think of, but the church loses an entire collection because of that, and that's substantial, because normally, say Christmas is on Wednesday, you have the Wednesday collection with the Sunday collection before and after. If you combine the 2, you just get the 1, which it's not that's the most important thing, but it actually is something we consider when setting a budget for a year when Christmas is on Sunday, because we lose upwards of 15,000 or so.
Yeah, and obviously not being a math major, how often does this happen?
Well, you can't say every 7 years, because leap years get thrown in. So sometimes if it's a leap year, it'll skip the Sunday, and then it'll be
so more than 7 or more?
Yeah, 7 or more. Not
Awesome.
too often.
Yeah. So it wouldn't be a normal candles video unless we talked about construction.
That's right.
And we've had some major changes since we last talked with you. So maybe give everybody a little bit of update. What's going on?
I'm not sure. The viewers probably can't hear this through the mics, but we can hear beeping right there behind us as the machinery backs up. But I think since last time I was on, we've poured the slab, we've gone vertical. The framing of the pre-engineered part of the building, which is the parish hall, gymnasium, cafeteria, the part that's in the middle, the framing has all gone up. It was sort of like watching them put up an erector set, because it all came pre-made. They just had to assemble it. Now they're even putting on the metal siding, the sides of that building. I would assume in the next couple of weeks you'll see the pre-engineered part completely enclosed, and then they'll begin doing the framing and masonry of the traditional construction part, which is the offices on the north, the pre-K on the south. Because we're in winter, they got to put tents up to keep heaters there for the grout, for the masonry. Yeah. So we're going to see a lot of movement, and the exciting part is, I would imagine in the next 2 months or so, the full frame, skeleton, structure of the building will be very apparent. And then once they get it enclosed, you won't see as much from the outside as the work heads inside.
Right, and I noticed today too, I got a little tour by the supervisor, Andy Meir, today. After our Thursday every 2-week meeting, he gives me a little tour, which is awesome. And he showed me that they're starting to lay the block underneath. It goes up 12 feet. I did not realize that.
The cinder block?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then that's when then they'll go on with the metal. But he also said the biggest milestone so far was getting that concrete poured.
Right. We got the slab poured, it came in 2 pours. That's the entire foundation, basically. A big concern was, because in this area we have I-69 being worked on, we have I-65 being worked on. There are city-sized warehouses, it seems, being built by Amazon all over the place. So concrete is a very hard commodity to get. They were worried they were going to have to get that in like 5 or 6 pours in smaller quantities, but somehow they secured with just 2 pours,
Wow.
which saves money because they got to get that big pump thing out each time. They got it done in 2 pours. At 3 in the morning, they were out here to make sure it was done before that machinery was gone before the school drop off in the morning. So, and we were lucky that we had a fairly warm week, so they didn't have to put the heater blankets down or anything.
And who is the saint of concrete?
That's a good question. I don't know, but whoever that was,
We're going to ask him to
definitely-
intercede on our behalf.
Definitely interceded for us.
Yeah.
But it was good.
So going from construction to the end of the year, right now when we're filming this, I think it's December, I don't know what the date is.
Does the 15th?
15th, yeah, right
so-
about halfway.
Yeah.
So if you could a little bit, I know that a lot of people are so generous here at St. Mark with their time, their treasure and talents. It's the end of the year, so maybe some of the ways if they want to, for not only tax purposes, but to help the parish, some ways they can give here.
That's right. So, we have all sorts of different areas where our money goes. Our charity option for the season of Advent, we have that Advent giving tree in the narthex, which helps our 2 main charities, a Families in Need Fund, which is discretionary as needs come up throughout the year, and then St. Vincent de Paul, which our chapter is a part of the larger chapter that helps the local area with all sorts of things. So that's an option. There is year-end giving, and I know that it's always good in people's generosity. I'm always a big proponent that they should also at the same time take advantage of tax opportunities that go along with that, because why not? So end of the year giving is a big thing right now, either just for the parish's general fund that makes everything happen, the campaign, we still have options for those envelopes that go towards the campaign.
A lot of soft costs still we're going to be coming upon,
yeah.
so we still, people asked me the other day, did we collect more than we need? That's an obvious no.
No, not even close. So, we're getting close to the point where what we've already collected will be eclipsed by the costs, and then we'll start to draw from the Archdiocese's account and then pay that back as money comes in. But of course, as we've talked about before, the cost of everything skyrocketed so much that even if we collect 100% of what people had pledged, there are still going to be soft costs and some extra costs to get things done in Schaefer Hall. So there is going to be a lot that we are still looking to do, and still, of course, relying on that generosity.
And some examples of soft costs would be like the basketball goals, office desk, and different
Supplies,
things like
things
that.
we need. Yeah, there's things you don't even think about. Just things that you need in the kitchen, things you need to run a cafeteria, to run a gym, to run the offices, filing cabinets, all sorts of stuff like that. Yeah, and those things do add up. The hard costs are what we contract with, and that's to have the whole building ready to go. But basically what goes in it, to make it functional, we'd call soft costs.
And you and I have talked about before, and we've had some guests on here before that also talk about charitable giving, estate planning. Touch a little bit about that, how important that is to the future of our church.
Yeah, so estate planning is, in thinking about wills and bequeathments and things like that, it really is. It's not only is a great way to honor one's legacy, for a family, but for the benefits, there's a tremendous benefit for us, in sort of a sustained income that allows us to keep looking towards the future. As this coming year is our 75th anniversary, we can look back on 75 great years, and we also want to look forward to 75 great years, which means all those, those things that go into keeping a parish running.
Right.
And the reality is we're a 75-year-old parish, which is a wonderful thing, but it also means a lot of our buildings are also close to 75 years old,
Right.
which, brings up a lot of, just general maintenance issues and things that allow us to continue to function as a parish. So, and that's becoming, for a while, the church didn't think about the estate planning as much as, as an option for people to consider, but I just think it's yet another way that we can continue to support the church. And for a lot of people, maybe, who are not able to support as much as they'd like in life, it's an option to look at leaving a legacy gift that can continue to do that as well. So, and I know that that's one of the roles that you undertake, is helping people get connected to resources, because a lot of that does take a good deal of planning, oftentimes a lawyer to get it all done correctly, and like with anything, like with a will and things like that, but also just to begin thinking about that as an option is a wonderful thing.
And even people at the age of, I mean, just finishing college and starting in the workforce, it's never too early. Of course, you're thinking about other things besides that. And, if you have little children all running around, you're thinking about that. But it's always good to have that in the back of your mind, so when you get to that point, you have it planned for. And I appreciate everything that our staff does. The staff down at the Archdiocese, Jalinda Moore and her staff does a great job, and what you do to help people to facilitate that for them.
Right. And the more you plan for it earlier, the less you have to worry about it later, which is a good thing, I think.
Yeah.
'Cause
As we start to close the 2022, isn't that weird to say that?
It is,
Something like that.
yeah.
We look around our church and our school and our campus, and we see all the different ministries in action. The youth ministries, the music ministries, the MMA, the school obviously is our largest ministry. Tell me a little bit about your feelings about this. Is be your third year here, I believe.
But yeah,
halfway
through my third year.
Looking back, kind of what's your analysis, of no other things, of the ministries and how they're going and where they're going?
You're right, we have a very, very vibrant parish in the sense of lots and lots of ministries going on. Someone was teasing me the other day about every time they come here, we have so many announcements after Mass, to which I said, that means that we have a lot going
Right.
on. It'd be a sad thing if after Mass we had nothing to say and we just, we'll see you next week. So there's lots and lots going on. And a lot of our ministries are sort of exploding. Like you said, the school, the MMA, that's part of the reason why we're building all this new space, to be able to house all of this. So I think as we look forward in 23, our 75th anniversary, which is a big year for us, and there's going to be lots of celebrations throughout the year. As we look forward to that, I think what I'm most excited about is, at this point, we're pretty much we're on the other side of the COVID shutdown,
Sure.
which really gave us an interesting time of everything shut down. Some of the ministries, some of the things we used to do didn't come back, some new ones came out of it, but a lot have been reemerging. Now that we're past all of that, we can really look at how we more connect the ministries to each other, because it is possible sometimes when you get a lot of different things going that, just sort of naturally things can sort of develop like islands. And it's always good to take assessment and to be able to kind of keep everything so that everyone sees what they're doing as a part of the whole, which I think is important, because people like to feel like, I might be most involved in MMA, or I might be most involved in St. Vincent de Paul or in the school, but that's all a part of the St. Mark Parish Ministries. It's not like we're just
Interconnected,
right.
Everything is.
We're not just a collection of individual things, but one with lots of different facets. So there's really, anyone that comes here, you'd be hard pressed not to find something that you could fit into other than just Sunday Mass and the liturgy, which is the foundation of it all. But there's so much more that's going on. We just did that large parish survey to give us a sense of what do people think we can, that we do well, and what can we focus on a little more to connect it better. And there'll be, more on that coming as well. But it's a very exciting time for us to celebrate our new space, celebrate 75 years, celebrate all we have going on, look to make it even more concrete in connection, and then look towards the next 75 years.
Yeah, and you mentioned the COVID time. It really, I was thinking back to that the other day. It allowed us to reinvent ourselves in some ways.
In many ways.
Some parishes, I'll hate to say this, kind of shrunk away from that, but ours, with the live stream, with the different things that we do, with the different ministries that evolve from that, we've kept some of that stuff in a positive way. And we still, we live stream Sunday 9:30 Mass and still get between 70 and 100 viewers.
And I hear from a lot of people who are, now the issue isn't so much, there's still people that are sick at home, but also people who are homebound or who are in nursing homes that can stay connected. And it was just sort of, it pushed that technology much quicker than I think. And
Absolutely.
Everyone knows that. Who had heard of Zoom before COVID?
Exactly.
Now we all know how to do a Zoom call, so things like that. So it's also wonderful to be back in person and reconnected, but what we found was helpful and good, we could keep.
Yeah, it enhanced everything, some of the things we did. So Christmas season, any travel plans for you?
I'm going to have some time away in Florida for a vacation, as well as some retreat time after the holidays are over. And like I said, it's an interesting year that Christmas and New Year's are both on Sundays, so everything kind of goes just week by week. And it'll go quickly, as it always does. But I just hope if there's anything that I hope for, or any Christmas message I would give, is just to take time, pull back from all the busyness, all the craziness, and just take time to just remember. I know we hear it all the time, but just remember what it's truly about, which is celebrating the incarnation, that that God became man, that Christ came to save us, and on top of everything else, that's what really matters, because that's where the joy comes from. That's why we celebrate it in the first place. So,
Well, and on that note, what a great ending for that. So we appreciate your time. We know you're busy during this time. We do have the Christmas concert coming up Sunday at
7 p.m.
7 p.m. here in the church. I know there's dinner dance coming on. We'll talk about those things later. A lot of good activities.
So
But
Gam Gabe is this Saturday with the Filipino community.
Exactly
We got
right.
all sorts of stuff.
yeah, and I know that you've already probably got your mom a Christmas present, but you don't want to say what it is yet, right?
That's right, yes.
Because I know she watches these.
My mom and dad's Christmas
Your
present.
mom and dad's, yes.
Oh,
Yeah.
Sorry, Dad, it's really more for her, but you're connected.
You didn't get her new vacuum for your rectory, did you?
no.
That's good. Okay, very good. Well, listen, we appreciate everybody watching today. We hope you have a great Advent season, a good Christmas season. God bless you all, and we'll see you soon. Peace, everybody.
God bless.